Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I am just wanting to check in with you guys because I had a secret TBR going for the entire year of 2021. And now I get to reveal to you what that secret TBR was. Actually, the title probably has already revealed it, but yeah, I looked through, at the beginning of the year, I looked through everybody's top favorites of 2020, and I chose ones from their videos that I thought I might like, and so I read 14 Booktubers 2020 favorites. So yeah, well, I use the word read loosely. You'll find out why. Okay, let's just jump in. I had taken down a bunch more than 14 booktubers, like the one that I would read out of their top of 2020. I have a big list here, but I only ended up getting to 14. So it won't be a secret TBR going forward, but I do plan to do this for sure this coming year. I don't know about in the future, but I do plan to do this again. So I will try to pick different booktubers for the next installment of this reading Booktuber Favorites. So the first one I will say is McKenzie Lane, and of course I'll leave all of these channels linked down below. McKenzie Lane, one of her favorites from 2020 was Get Out of Your Head by Jenny Allen.
We're now at the 15th book I read in 2020. I read Get Out of Your Head by Jenny Allen. This was phenomenal, 5 out of 5 stars.
And this one I gave 3.75. I really enjoyed it, but it wasn't a new favorite. I wish I would have done a little bit more like real-time thoughts to put in this video. For the following year I will do that, but I remember that I liked it, but it wasn't a new favorite, and I can't really tell you why. See, that's why I need to format this video differently next year, but you live and you learn. Yeah, 3.75. The other one was from J.D. Ray Reads. I tried Blackbird, which was this beautiful graphic novel.
Coming in at number 7 is a comic, which is Blackbird by Sam Humphries and Jen Bartel. I don't think a comic has ever made it onto a top 10 list of mine before, but this comic is something else.
The illustrations were stunning, but I bailed on that one. I DNF'd it because of language, so I didn't finish that one. Another one from Beckel Books is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue.
Next on this list, again I have a review for it, is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. This was a book that is very overhyped, and a lot of people talk about it on YouTube specifically, but also on Twitter and Instagram. And so when I was going into it, I was very hesitant, and I was hoping that my expectations and the way that this book delivered would align, and it absolutely did.
I also DNF'd this one. Let me check Goodreads as to why. I guess I DNF'd that one because of sexual content. So I tried one of Heather's favorites from Bookables. I read Little Women.
Coming in at number 10 is the only classic I read this year, and that is Little Woman by Louisa May Alcott. If you don't know, I don't read a ton of classics, so if you're new to this channel and you're like, oh, let's see the classics she's read, you've come to the wrong place.
I think I liked it. Let me look at Goodreads. I remember I liked it, but because the 90s movie is so treasured, it didn't compare to the movie, which is strange. And I felt like it was kind of long and boring. Unpopular opinion, I realize that. So I gave that one a 3-star. Oh, right, and then there was one very pivotal scene that happened in the movie that has always been like a huge part of the story for me. and it wasn't even in the book. So I was like, oh, to me that's a large part of the heart, so it's kind of weird that the book was missing it. Anyway, from Books and Lala, one of Kayla's favorites was Alatsaway.
So first up, in my number 2 spot, my second favorite book of the entire year, and one of the most beautiful books of the entire year, is Alatsaway by Darcy Little Badger. This should have no bearing on my enjoyment, but like, I just have to share this one more time.
I DNF'd this one. Let's see why. I didn't have a concrete reason as to why I DNF'd Alatsaway, just for some reason it just didn't click with me, so yeah, it was, I think it could have been good, maybe written differently, I don't know. The next one was one of Krista's at Books and Jams. One of her favorites from 2020 was The Vanderbeekers.
And this one is another book about families, which is why I'm kind of lumping them together. You guys have heard me talk about these series so much on my channel. I feel like the Vanderbeekers books keep getting better and better.
And so I tried this one. This one, I think the reason why I gave it a 3-star and nothing higher, well, one of the big reasons was because I had gone into it thinking it was more cutesy, lighthearted, comedy kind of thing, and it's very much not. It's quite hard hitting, and I don't know, it also didn't work for me. I don't know, but that could have been partly because I went into it thinking it was something different. Another one was from Emily at Books with Emily Fox. One of her favorites was The Midnight Library.
Next, I absolutely need to rave in length about this book, The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. This is my third book by the author. The first book that I read by him was The Humans, and it made it in the best of the year that I read it in. And I'm noticing a pattern with him that he tends to write about mental health.
I remember DNFing this one, and I was very disappointed because I was very excited when I had heard that Matt Haig was coming out with a new one, and that it had to do with like kind of like a time traveling library. I ended up DNFing that one because of some language in the beginning, and it just didn't have anything to like pull me in, and so I'm not going to read something with some language in it that I'm not even interested in the story, you know what I mean? So I think that one was a big disappointment for me. I think the concept, that's the thing that I am discovering, is a lot of these concepts that people have are very creative and really cool, and I think it's just author writing. Like, either the author's writing jives with you or it doesn't. So yeah, I think that's all that one was. Mary at Happily Ever Esh. One of her favorites was Our Souls at Night.
Spot number 3, we have Our Souls at Night by Kent Harif. This is a sparse, short little novel that utterly captured my heart.
This one was about 2 elderly people who kind of connect and stay the night with each other, just sleeping, out of a desire for companionship because they're both alone. However, I did DNF this one after some language and 2 F words. So another one was Lindsay from BFCG, which is Books for Christian Girls. One of her favorites from 2020 was The Librarian of Boone's Hollow.
And then book number 1, the only book in my 2020 reading that got 5 stars. I made a whole 20-some minute video talking about it. The Librarian of Boone's Hollow by Kim Volk-Sawyer.
And I gave this one a 4-star. I really enjoyed it. I really liked the way that it started, because not very often, I feel like, does it happen where a book starts off in a direction and then very quickly shifts the whole narrative of the story, and it's something completely different. And I feel like this one did that. It had like, and it was very early on in the book. It's not like a twist, a plot twist. It's not like that, but it's like a shift in kind of the tone of the story. I don't know. It was just a really interesting approach to the storytelling. So I really liked that. One of Oshina's favorites from Oshina Gotta Read 'Em All was A Girl's Guide to the Outback.
Okay, next, I'm really excited about this one. It is A Girl's Guide to the Outback by Jessica Kate. Oh, I loved this one. I don't know, it's really good.
I did like it. I did actually laugh out loud a couple of times, but also there was a ton of pop culture references in this one, and that is something that I really don't like. So I gave that one a 3.5. The next one from Nori at Reading with Nori was Legendborn.
So we are coming up to number 6, and I feel like I should have put this on higher, but like once you see like my top 5, you're like, okay, Nori, I understand, but like this book is incredible, and I was like this close to picking it up again and reading it because I love it so much. And I am talking about Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. And
I DNF'd that one too. Mostly just because it wasn't doing anything for me, so I just wasn't interested enough to continue. Another one from Amanda, the Curly Reader, was The Giver of Stars.
In slot number 5, I have The Giver of Stars by Jojo Moyes. This is a book that I read in February as part of Historathon. It is a historical fiction book that is set in Kentucky in the 1930s.
Which is kind of funny now that I look back, because The Giver of Stars and Librarian of Boone's Hollow have a similar element in that it's around the time in the States when they had kind of like a traveling library on like horseback, where people would, mostly women I think, would deliver books to families in the area, just to promote like education and learning and knowledge. So yeah, The Giver of Stars has a similar theme, but so I gave this one a 2.75 star. The reason this one didn't get a higher rating was there was quite a bit of language, more minor, soft, whatever you want to call it. But also I felt like God's design of marriage was constantly being called into question and attacked, and by like a couple of characters, and even by the town's desire to see progress, and I don't know, I just felt like it was like so heavy in that way, like nobody was standing up for like God's design for marriage. This one woman, she was just unhappy in her marriage just for the sake of being unhappy. Yeah, I don't know, it just, I don't know. Yeah, we'll leave it there. The next one was from Catherine and ex-Catherine. One of her favorites was Rage of Dragons.
Number 10 on this list is The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. I'm really happy I was able to get to this book finally. I ended up making a book review.
And I tried this one as well, but also DNF'd it. I mean, it's a high fantasy, and it was fine. Like, there was nothing wrong with it. I just couldn't get into it. I don't know, sometimes it's a hit, sometimes it's a miss, and there's really no reason why. I will double check my Goodreads just to make sure if there was anything else, but that's what I remember it being. Yeah, my review just says I was disinterested. So, and the last one for the year was Cody at Cody's Book Corner. And then there were none.
Coming in at my number 4 spot is And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. I'm so glad I finally read this. This is actually, I think now, my favourite mystery thriller book I've ever read.
Which was the first Agatha Christie that I loved. So this is one of my favorite Agatha Christie's. I can see why it's one of the ones that stands out to people, because it is, I think it's just very well done. I can't wait to watch any movies that are, I think there's a bunch of, hey, is there a TV series, a BBC TV series that goes through each Agatha Christie per episode? Is that a thing? I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into it. But yes, I did really enjoy And Then There Were None. I think I probably gave it a 4 or 4.5 star. yeah, so that's how that went. It was kind of cool just to go through everyone else's favorites and see if I can find a favorite for me. Yeah, because like I love all of these booktubers, and so many more that I can't wait to get to for the next year. And yeah, it was really fun. Thank you guys so much for watching. Also, maybe leave in the comments below some of your favorites from 2020, and then I'll see if I can include them in my reading year. That would be cool. Also, how many of you guys are on Goodreads? Because I am on Goodreads, and I'd love to see all of you there. I know there are a number of you guys that are already connected with me on Goodreads, which is so cool. But if you're not, and you do have Goodreads and you would like to connect, totally let me know and we will get that set up. Yeah, I hope you guys have a very lovely day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!